At 6, it's been a fairly quiet last week in Clintonville after 9 days of mysterious booming noises that have been waking residents up.
Captured this. Clintonville city officials confirm it's the same noise that has been waking up residents there for weeks.
Tucked away in the American Midwest, Wisconsin is a place where rolling fields give way to deep forests and where communities thrive amid lakes and gentle hills. Yet, beneath this familiar landscape, something unsettling has begun to stir, a low, persistent hum that no one can explain. For generations, Wisconsin has been a bastion of steady, predictable cycles, the harvesting of crops, the changing of the seasons, the reliable echo of a Friday night football crowd carrying across a town square. But now, that long-standing predictability has been abruptly shattered. In the small town of Clintonville, a series of mysterious booms and tremors have confounded not only residents, but also the experts summoned to solve the puzzle. These unexplained ground vibrations defy straightforward answers, shaking homes and unsettling minds. Are they the product of natural phenomena, or is something more mysterious at play? As police, geologists, and astronomers collaborate to search for clues, each new discovery seems to deepen the mystery, raising questions rather than providing clarity. From the depths of the Earth to the reaches of outer space, Wisconsin's past and present converge in a wave of unexplained activity. Astronomers at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee are unveiling cosmic oddities, while geologists study ancient volcanic rocks. Fiery lights blaze across the night sky. Even the skies themselves, once charted and ordinary, now shimmer with uncertainty. What lies behind the ground vibrations that terrify a community and perplex seasoned researchers? Could the answer force us to rethink what we know about Earth, space, and the boundaries between the two? Or does the true explanation remain just out of reach, hidden beneath Wisconsin's seemingly placid surface? Join us as we unravel the chapters of this enigma, exploring theories, discoveries, and unsettling possibilities surrounding Wisconsin's unexplained ground vibrations. What would you do if your world began to shake, with no warning and no explanation?
And the shakes are back in Clintonville.
In the span of 15 minutes, almost 60 calls flooded police around 10:30 last night.
The Clintonville phenomenon, when the ground roars. It began with a jolt in the quiet hours before dawn, when the only sounds should have been the distant call of an owl or the gentle creak of tree branches. Residents of Clintonville were lifted from their sleep by a sudden thunderous boom, so loud the very walls seemed to quake. Windows rattled in their panes. Dogs barked in confusion. Neighbors stepped out onto darkened porches, eyes wide. The next night, and the next, the pattern repeated. The east side of town rumbled. Sometimes the ground felt as if it was undulating beneath their feet, as if something massive and unseen was moving far below. Within days, reports flooded into the Clintonville Police Department. What is happening? Is it an earthquake? People described how glassware would jump inside cabinets. Pictures would dislodge from the walls, and for a brief moment, the silence and stillness of small-town life ruptured by something nobody could explain. But Clintonville, Wisconsin, lies far from any major fault line. The region had little history of seismic activity, and yet the ground boomed and shook as if it were alive. Calls to neighboring counties, New London, Oshkosh, Appleton, produced only more questions, as those communities reported none of the same disturbances. Clintonville alone seemed chosen or cursed. City officials scrambled for answers. Seismologists installed sensors overnight, hoping to capture the elusive signature of these shakes. But each reading offered only faint seismic energy, enough to confirm something was happening beneath Clintonville, but not enough to suggest a classic earthquake or a mine blast. Engineers checked water mains, gas lines, and utility tunnels. All were intact. There were no construction projects, no quarry explosions, no evidence of human error or malicious intent. As days turned into a tense waiting game, the mystery deepened. If not an earthquake, then what? Anxiety rose as the booms persisted. For the residents, every thunderous blast felt more unsettling than the last. Not just a shaking of the ground, but a shaking of certainty itself. Could something deep within the earth be at work, or was it possible that forces from far above, out of sight and out of reach, were making their presence known? How could a town become the epicenter of ground vibrations so powerful, yet so impossible to explain? As scientists and locals watched and waited, they were left with a chilling question. When the world trembles for no reason, what hidden truths might it be trying to reveal? Beyond the surface, searching for answers underground. As the tremors in Clintonville continued to rattle nerves and send ripples of fear through the community, the search for the source became a statewide scientific endeavor. Seismologists from around Wisconsin and even neighboring states brought ultra-sensitive instruments and years of expertise, hoping to pinpoint what ordinary observation could not. They placed seismic sensors in schoolyards, fields, back alleys, church basements, anywhere that might yield subtle clues about the origin of the vibrations. Each new data stream delivered a clue, but also a fresh puzzle. The seismic readings confirmed what townsfolk experienced. The ground was shaking, sometimes with enough force to topple ornaments, sometimes just enough to rattle dishes in the cupboard. However, the shaking patterns did not match typical seismic events. Earthquakes release energy in a burst from deep underground, waves rippling outward. Clintonville's shaking was different, intermittent, highly localized, lacking the rolling vibrations of tectonic activity. Seismologists struggled to explain why the energy seemed concentrated in shallow pockets beneath the town, vanishing and then reappearing elsewhere. Engineers expanded their investigations. Could underground caverns be collapsing, creating mini-quakes? Surveys of the subsurface revealed no voids, no abandoned mine shafts, no evidence of geological instability, no natural gas wells, fluid injection, or fracking, occasionally known to cause seismic disturbances, existed here. Earthquake swarms, caused by shifting groundwater, were ruled out. The aquifers were stable, the water table unchanged. Teams probed all possible avenues. Gas and sewer lines were inspected, monitored, and pressure tested. Local utilities checked valves and meters again and again, but found nothing. The booms and shakes didn't fit known patterns of gas leakage or mechanical failure. With each test, another potential answer was eliminated. Meanwhile, geologists at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, with expertise in paleomagnetism, were studying volcanic rocks from the Pacific Ocean floor to understand more about Earth's interior. While these studies didn't directly solve Clintonville's case, there was hope that understanding magnetic forces and rock formation might offer some clue about how ground movements arise, even in areas removed from tectonic boundaries. Yet, even advanced geological tools yielded few breakthroughs. Clintonville's vibrations remained stubbornly unexplained. No cause above, no cause below. As each underground explanation evaporated, the investigators expanded their search beyond the town's boundaries and into the foundational theories of the Earth. When every rational answer fails, what mysteries remain? Could the source of these ground-shaking booms be something science has yet to encounter or cannot fully explain? Signals from the sky, cosmic clues, and fiery lights. While Clintonville's booms sparked fear and confusion, strange events quietly unfolded above Wisconsin's fields and forests. For many, the sky was a reliable canvas: stars, clouds, the occasional passing airplane. But in early 2025, that changed. Fiery lights blazed across the night sky along the horizon, drawing amazed and unnerved witnesses across the state. Were these ordinary meteor showers, or was something more unusual occurring? Local news carried reports. Fiery lights spotted in skies over Wisconsin believed to be space junk, according to a Milwaukee news outlet. Residents described objects streaking overhead, red-orange trails, bursts of brightness, and sometimes what looked like metallic fragments burning up in the atmosphere. Cell phone footage captured fast-moving streaks lighting up the sky before fading into nothingness. Experts tentatively speculated these were likely decommissioned satellites or spent rocket stages re-entering the atmosphere. Meanwhile, researchers at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee made headlines for helping to discover a unique space object emitting both radio waves and X-rays. This finding hinted at rare and not yet fully understood cosmic phenomena. If scientists were discovering new objects in space with unusual signals, could such phenomena in the cosmos impact conditions on Earth, perhaps in ways we haven't fully understood? Yet, as astronomers trained telescopes on mysterious objects and the public puzzled over space debris, scientists found no direct or known science connecting cosmic events like these with shallow, localized booms under Clintonville. Still, the community wondered, in a universe filled with unknown, how close might the extraordinary really be? Could the ground-shaking booms be the Earth's response to cosmic disturbances, solar flares, meteorite, or space junk settling into the atmosphere? Or are the two events coincidentally aligned in time, each unsettling in their own way? Unexplained flying objects, UFOs, are by definition something seen in the sky that cannot be identified or explained. People speculated about unidentified objects overhead, but at this stage, there was no verified link to the Clintonville events. The questions multiplied. When both land and sky erupt with unexplained signs, are we witnessing rare coincidence or the early warnings of something stranger still? The legacy of the land, ancient clues, and modern concerns. As the investigation dragged on, some considered the deeper history of Wisconsin. The state's record of geological stability stood in contrast to the chaos now unfolding. For millions of years, Wisconsin's bedrock, scoured and shaped by glaciers and enduring ice ages, had lain largely at rest. There are no active fault lines beneath the state, no volcanoes within hundreds of miles, and the memory of more dramatic geological time has faded into legend. Yet, geological quiet can sometimes mask anomalies. Researchers at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, experts in paleomagnetism, used volcanic rocks from the Pacific to study Earth's shifting poles and magnetic field changes. While directly unrelated to Clintonville's vibrations, this type of research broadened scientific understanding of how deep Earth and planetary forces affect surface conditions, offering perspective on the scale and complexity of what can shape a planet's crust. Globally, recent years saw giant mega-tsunamis shake the planet for days, with satellite footage revealing massive energy transfer across continents. Seismic energy can, at times, echo around the globe, but Clintonville's vibrations were distinct, localized, short-lived, and lacking tsunami signatures. If global seismic events had after effects, there was no direct scientific evidence they caused this particular episode. Still, the reminder lingered. The Earth is interconnected, and even distant disturbances can sometimes have unpredictable effects. Was it possible, some wondered, that energies unleashed half a world away could travel quietly through the planet's crust, manifesting as mysterious local shakes? As the search continued, it became clear how little is sometimes understood about subtle threats, rare geological oddities, or buried weaknesses in what we take for granted as solid ground. Was the land itself hiding secrets, ancient cracks from the last glacial age, faint scars left by prehistoric cataclysms that would explain the sudden tremors? Or was the shaking purely a puzzle of modern monitoring, a byproduct of human sensitivity to change and uncertainty? The people of Clintonville and those far beyond confronted a humbling truth. Sometimes, the land remembers what we have forgotten. In a place known for predictability, the unpredictable had taken hold. Are these the small signs of something larger stirring? A warning that the ground beneath our feet may not be as stable as we believe? Theories multiply, science and speculation. Seismic theories, once dominant, could not explain the peculiar qualities of Clintonville's vibrations. Traditional earthquake models failed. The energy was too shallow, fleeting, and localized. Gas and utility theories fell apart under persistent inspection. no leaks, no evidence. Some suggested rare atmospheric or environmental conditions, unique weather patterns, or atmospheric pressure changes that might amplify ordinary ground noises. But meteorologists noted no unusual weather at the time, and no evidence was found of resonance strong enough to shake homes. Engineers even considered shifts in local lakes and rivers, or the settling of long-buried glacial deposits. Yet measurements showed no correlation with the events. The theories were rational, but none matched the observed data. Meanwhile, some residents looked skyward for explanations. UFOs, objects seen in the sky that cannot be identified, became the subject of conversation, especially after sightings of fiery lights overhead. Yet, as news outlets and scientists clarified, unexplained aerial lights do not directly account for ground-based vibrations, and no link was substantiated. Living with the unknown, community on the brink. In the weeks following the first reports, Clintonville became a town transformed. The everyday rhythms of life, a trip to the bakery, laughter at the school bus stop, the creak of porch swings, were punctuated by anticipation. Nighttime brought unease, families listening for the next boom. Some stowed valuables for safety, others prepared flashlights and made plans for emergency shelter in case shaking intensified. Daily routines were upended. Parents devised emergency checklists. The elderly checked in on one another more often, and the local hardware store quickly sold out of kits for securing furniture and reinforcing windows. On Northeast Wisconsin's radio, shows such as Mano and the Mayor became forums for updates, speculation, and encouragement. Callers shared observations, theories, and support. Children drew pictures of booms and bright lights, making sense of the unknown through art. Teachers offered reassuring words, scientists explained what they could, and parents waited for answers. As days stretched into weeks, the shaking, once terrifying, became almost familiar, a part of life. The mystery remained, unanswered, unsolved, and ever-present. The town, at the epicenter of uncertainty, lived on the edge of knowledge, staring into a puzzle with no clear end. How do you live when your world refuses to be explained? In Clintonville, community and resilience were the answers. The edge of discovery, wonder, and warning in Wisconsin. As the ground-shaking booms faded from daily headlines, their legacy lingered, etched into memory and into the scientific record as one of the most confounding and unforgettable episodes in the region's living history. For every potential solution, a dozen new questions rose, undeterred by reason or reassurance. The Clintonville phenomenon did more than terrify a town. It confronted scientists, skeptics, and ordinary people with the reality of the unknown, challenging trust in the familiar. In Wisconsin's universities and research labs, teams pressed on. Paleomagnetism studies continued. Astronomers scanned the sky for cosmic oddities emitting unfamiliar signals. Meteorologists and geologists pored over data, determined to extract meaning from chaos. Each new observation joined a broader tapestry, a story still in search of an ending. Yet, in the late-night stillness over Wisconsin, the impact of the unexplained ground vibrations remained, an unsettling memory, a story told at dinner tables and whispered to children. Had the Earth itself issued a warning, a reminder of forces beyond human control? Had the sky answered in kind? Or, as some hoped, was this a rare convergence of unrelated events, never to be repeated, and perhaps never to be solved? For Clintonville, and for all who watched, the booms became a symbol of curiosity, resilience, and the human drive to seek understanding even when explanations slip away. In a world shaped by routine, Wisconsin's ground vibrations were a summons to awe and humility, a reminder of all that remains unknown beneath our feet and above our heads. What would you do if your community was shaken, not just by tremors, but by the realization that some mysteries may never be solved? Would you keep searching, straining for meaning at the edge of discovery? Or would you find peace alongside the unknown, trusting that each unsolved question brings us closer to the heart of wonder? If the ground roared tonight, what secret would it be trying to tell you? Stay tuned as we continue exploring extraordinary mysteries from across the United States. What fascinates you most about what remains unexplained, share your theories below. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Together, we'll keep searching, questioning, and listening, even when the ground itself demands our attention.